This week on Kayak Bassin, Chad Hoover takes his hunt for trophy bass to the waters in Pike Road, Alabama.
If you like to fish, you need to live in the waters. It's a unique development, traditional neighborhood design in Pike Road, Alabama, which we're only about 10 minutes from Montgomery, so close to shopping, dining, things like that. Beautiful landscape. We offer amenities for our residents that no one else has around here. 200-acre Lake Cameron, 2 other small lakes. It's just a beautiful area.
Okay, so here we are down at the water, Pike Road, Alabama, at the waters. I'm here with Richard White. Richard is actually a resident here. And what do you do for a living, Richard?
Local attorney here in the Montgomery Pike Road area.
So with Richard being an attorney and has never fished out of a kayak, the theme of this episode is going to be so easy, even a lawyer can do it. Is that right? Is that what we're calling this episode? All right, cool. So let's get out there.
Let's do it.
They say this thing's got some bass in it, right?
Couple. So hopefully we can get after them.
Hank Parker's been here.
Hank Parker's been here.
A lot of Elite Series pros.
Skeet Reese, a lot of
all the top guys, they've all come here and caught bass. So we should be able to catch bass too.
On you.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right. Fish on.
Yeah, they love that little area where you are.
Running at the boat. Oh yeah.
Small one. First fish in the kayak right there. Gotta tell you, it was fun.
I ran a crankbait through here in the beginning and I was deflecting off of a lot of wood, but had one fish follow it to the boat and turn off, so put together a little spinnerbait combination that's a Colorado blade and a willow leaf together, so it takes the arc of the blade down a little bit, makes it a little more compact, and it allows me to reel it a little slower because I got that Colorado blade on there. Just keeps it in the strike zone a little longer, and with this water temperature being kind of cool and the fish haven't gotten super aggressive, it's just a deadly combination. Water temperature still being pretty cool, and that fish right there was in 6 inches of water. I'm not kidding you, 6 inches of water. It's not a monster, but it's a pretty good little fish.
Stay tuned. When we come back, the fish get bigger as the boys continue their hunt for trophy largemouth in Alabama.
Oh!
Welcome back to Wilderness Systems Kayak Bassin TV. This week, Chad Hoover is at the waters in Pike Road, Alabama, looking for big bass in their trophy-filled lakes. But with the wind picking up, Chad decides to abandon the main lake and slides into one of the smaller side lakes to continue his hunt.
Fish on. Yeah.
Don't you feel it coming on you? Don't you feel the storm? Whiskey is the boiling, yeah, times are getting told. Better watch where you're jumping, girl. Better watch where you dive in. You better watch for that water line or the water will turn red. Don't you feel me?
Oh yeah.
In your heart? Yeah, don't you feel me in your heart?
Nice.
Darling, I
Now we're getting a little better. Not a pig, but it's fun. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. That's not that big, but it's a good. It's a chunk. Yeah. I love it when you can go back in there and get a fish you missed. There's a few places of hard bottom in here, so this may be where these bass set up to spawn in this kind of, in this little lake, just because it's the only, suitable place. And with the temperature being about a degree warmer, this might be the side of the lake that they're already starting to run bait off of and feeding up on to get ready for the spawn. Oh yeah. right at the bow, and he followed it like 10 feet. Nice. That fish came up out of the water to hit the spinnerbait as I was picking it up over the bow. That was crazy. Nice little fat fish. Wow. The spinnerbait bite is on.
Fishing windy conditions is challenging, but there are a few tricks to know that will make your time kayak fishing in the wind more productive. And so that is what Chad is going to look at in today's Kayak Fishing Tip of the Week, brought to you by Wilderness Systems, makers of the Commander, Ride, and Tarpon series of premium fishing kayaks.
Managing your boat position in the wind is probably one of the most difficult things fishing from a kayak, but you can simplify that process with a few key additions to your arsenal. I've already talked about using the stakeout pole with the anchor trolley. In fact, I'm using that to hold me in position for this segment. But another great tool is a drag chain. River guys are really used to using these, but these can be used in small ponds, reservoirs, lakes, or any body of water that you fish from a kayak. And it's simply a piece of chain, and this one I have covered with some industrial grade heat shrink, but you can use a bicycle inner tube, duct tape, electrical tape, anything that you want. And I've simply attached it to a kite string reel to make managing it simple. One thing you want to add to it to really make managing it super easy is I've just used a couple of offshore swivels and hooked it from loop to loop. The other great thing about that allows me to use this anchor line with other attachments such as drift socks and full-size anchors and such. By just having that on a small loop lanyard, now I've got my anchor line easy to manage. When I want to change the apparatus on the end, it's as simple as taking that loop and slipping it over the swivel. But more importantly, for managing this, when you're reeling it in, having that swivel in place as you're reeling it in, it keeps the line from getting twisted because all the line goes to the swivel and just keeps the swivel turning. So it makes managing this, this drag anchor real simple. You just simply reel it in like that, wrap it around, throw it in the back of your boat, and you've got it when you need it. So fishing rivers, especially anything with a soft or grass bottom where that drag chain can get caught, you can actually leave it out, paddle forward a little bit, and when you stop, it'll hold you in position. Stakeout pole and a drag anchor are two great ways to make managing your boat position easier on windy days when fishing for bass from the kayak.
For more kayak bass fishing tips and tricks, and for your chance to win a free Wilderness Systems kayak, visit kayakbassintv.com. When we come back, Chad changes lakes, hoping to find the big hog he's been hunting for.
Yeah!
This week on Kayak Bassin, Chad is at The Waters in Alabama, a planned community that boats some of the best managed trophy bass fishing in the country. With a great day already behind him and the sun starting to drop towards the horizon, Chad moves to another small lake on the Waters property to continue his hunt for the hog.
See if we can pick up a fish.
He had his hair slicked back and whiskey breath, bloodshot eyes and a pack of cigarettes. He said, "Where you headed?" She said, "No clue."
What I can tell you about the Waters is it's remarkably affordable, unbelievable fishing, and you won't find a more hospitable group of folks in a community anywhere in the country. It's just been an unbelievable experience. Y'all see one? Can you point one out for me? Over there? When somebody says, "Where did you catch that fish?" You go like this and you say, "Right there." Try it. I'm gonna see you do it. I'm gonna say, y'all try it. You ready? Say, "Hey, where did you catch that fish?" Right there in the corner of the mouth. That's exactly what you tell them. Then you keep your secret spots to yourself. You got that? Cool. Here, give me 5. Can I give you 5 back?
The gas tank sang a song called Empty. He filled it up. He tossed her the keys. She saw the gun, said, "What you doing anyway?"
This is a good one.
When you're old and gray, day, but he come out with his hand clenching his chest. His white t-shirt was turning red. Some money in a bag and a case of beer. Hit the gas, honey. Let's get out of here. Well, she opened a beer, took a big gulp, could barely squeeze a word through the lump in her throat. And all she could think of as she drove away was Jesus Christ. Never even got his name. Then she pulled off down the dirt road. When his breathing stopped and his eyes fell closed, she took the money, stuffed it in her pockets, kissed him on the cheek, and started walking. She had a song singing in her head, said, I love this town when I'm leaving her left to keep from going crazy. Gotta get a little wild.
Anytime you've got backwater and flooded timber, these little runoff areas are great places to target. So even if it's not naturally occurring, anytime there's running water, just creating some current and churning the water up, brings the bait fish in, and it also draws bass. So never overlook any kind of little water feature or running water. Running water is almost always going to attract some kind of predator bait fish relationship. Oh, nice! Yeah! Oh yeah!
Well, a few days later and a few more
Getting a lot better. I did a YouTube segment on using the line leader connection, and one of the things that I talked about on there is this little tuft that you use. Use your line clippers to skin that tuft. It actually acts like a strike indicator, and with this really clear fluorocarbon and braid to fluorocarbon connection, when you've got it up against the shoreline, having that little tuft that sticks out in the sun just kind of dancing around, and you see that first little tiny tick even before you could ever see the whole line jump or feel the fish move off with the bait, it's huge, especially for those big females that swim down and just open their mouth and suck it in, and you don't get a whole lot of line movement. Anybody can pick up the hit when they grab it and they start swimming off, and you can see your line moving through the water, but sometimes that little tuft, that little bitty, orb floating around in space, especially when there's a little bit of sunlight, just makes it glow, is the ticket on picking up a couple of strikes that you might miss. There's one. Fish has got like a broken back notch in it. It looks like it was attacked when it was younger or something, a big old bulbous area. Felt like it was way bigger than it was. We all have tools that we use that are part of everything that we do when we get ready for any type of activity. And for me, that tool is ScoutLookWeather.com. From its interactive quick log web portal to where you can go back and review some of the information that you've inputted in the water on your mobile app, to the detailed hourly forecast, to fish marks, easy marking the spot when you catch a fish, gathers all the weather information, inputs it, uploads it to the system so that when you get home you have all that information there. ScoutLookWeather.com, I'll be honest with you, I use it not only when I'm planning my trips, but I use it while I'm on my trips. I pull up the weather app and look at where the wind's coming from. There's no telling how many times that I've headed out since I started using ScoutLook and the weather was forecast to do one thing. Just before I go out on the water, just as one last measure, I check it, everything's changed. So you get to use the map, you get to use the information that you gathered prior to the trip, adjust your strategy, and get out there to where you're going to be in a place where the conditions are more conducive to catching fish. So all the tools that are available at ScoutLookWeather.com make it the ultimate tool for not only planning, but for making adjustments while you're out on the water to keep you in the fish. Well, they're getting a little bit, no they're not, they're still the same size. We'll be right back with more kayak bass fishing action.
Welcome back to Wilderness Systems Kayak Bassin TV. This week, Chad Hoover is at the waters in Pike Road, Alabama, looking for big bass in their trophy-filled lakes.
Right at the boat. I put it in her freaking mouth, basically, dropped it in that hole. Tell you what, man, so far, this place is living up to the billing. Haven't been out that long, already getting on some quality fish. I mean, look at the gut on that little thing. They're obviously starting to feed up hard. She chased a bait fish down. I saw the swell come from, 10 feet away. Already committed to shallow water. Wow, nice fish. I'm gonna reposition, get out a little bit wider so I can get it into those little cutbacks. So I'm gonna take my park and pole from Yak Attack and get myself into position. Fish. Oh yeah. Now if you notice right there, when I was pushed to the shoreline by the wind, I couldn't have gotten into this little cutback where I threw this bait and this fish ultimately took it. So when I say it actually helps you put more fish in the boat, it will legitimately help you put more fish in the boat, because if the wind had been blowing me, for one, it's harder to feel the bite because your line's constantly getting slack in it. But moreover, you can't slow down enough to let that lure sit there like it needs to get that bass to pick it up, because you're moving so quick with the wind pushing you into the shoreline. So now adding an anchor trolley to the boat is definitely a key to really successful, especially finesse presentations. And this is a Da Bomb from Missile Baits. It's a new bait company, the Elite Series Pro, Bassmaster Classifier, Bassmaster Classic Classifier, John Cruz, Cruz Missile Baits is his new company, and this Da Bomb is absolutely, so far, Da Bomb. So see if we can get another one. Oh, fish. Oh, stay on, baby, stay on. Oh man, she is down in that grass hard. She is down in there hard. Stay on. This stuff is thick. Stay on, girl. Stay on, big girl. This ain't graceful, but this is where you gotta go to get the big fish. Come on, girl, stay on. That's why you come to Alabama. Holy crap, February. Nice fish. Look at the gut on that thing. Look at that mouth. Oh my God. Missile Baits, definitely Da Bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, if this don't get you jacked up, just quit fishing. Just quit, stop, stay home. Take up like knitting or something. Wow, I tell you what, we need to get this big girl back in the water. We got some black clouds moving in. We definitely got to get off the water. But I'm going to tell you right now, I got to thank Mr. Richard White from the Waters, Pike Road, Alabama. I'll tell you what, I'm an SEC fanatic and an LSU fan through and through. But after the bass fishing I had this weekend, I'm going to tell you what, I got to give a big shout out to the War Eagle and the Roll Tide. Thanks for having me down here. As much as it pains me to say it, Alabama, you were definitely produced this weekend. So until next week, we'll see you with some more kayak bass fishing.
Join us next week on Kayak Bassin as Chad Hoover packs up and heads to fish a private, trophy-managed lake in northern Mississippi with local boy Tim Rogers.
You know what? Whether you're new to kayak fishing or you're looking to give kayak fishing a try, visit Hook One at kayakfishinggear.com for the latest in kayak fishing accessories, kayaks, and you know what? If you don't see something that you like, give us a call and we'll make sure we add it. Wow, nice fish.
Blech.